Do, 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 do. Hey everybody! Welcome to another episode of Who's That Anime with your host Stephen Collin. We are discussing Paranoia Agent. Paranoia?
Yes. Paranoia.
Paranoia. It's been a while.
Paranoia Agent. Yeah, Paranoia Agent.
Paranoia.
That's what we're discussing.
Yeah. We're still talking about this. Talk about episode 10 and 11 tonight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where did we leave off? We left off
with the housewives gabbing.
That's right. That was mental.
Not as mental as this one.
Nope. This one is weird. So the first episode that we're going to talk about tonight is episode 10, called Mellow Maromi, which is the, I believe we know Maromi is the pink dog created by, what's her name? Tsukiko Misagi.
Mm-hmm.
And Mellow Maromi, I believe, is the name of the show that they are creating based on her character.
Yes. And it starts off with a completely different art style from what we're used to. As a boy is at the side of the river saying that he's not very good at baseball. And then Maromi appears beside him and goes, "What's up?" And he goes, "Oh, monster," and drops his bat, falls into the river. And then he's like, I think you're just tired. You should take some rest. You should take a rest.
Take some rest. You should take some rest. You should take a rest. Take a rest.
And it kind of cuts away at that point to like storyboarding cells, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know the technical terms.
Yeah, it cuts to storyboards, which are like the stage before they would do the full cells and then the colouring. So it gives the impression that you're actually watching a part completed show, like it's just giving you an idea. And I think what we stumble into is that they're doing a voice casting session, where they hate the voice cast because none of them can lip sync.
Yeah, they're all new talent, and it goes into basically it starts introducing the characters of the episodes of like the pair of was he producer? He wasn't a producer.
Here's the production organizer. Here's the production coordinator. Here's the colorist. Here's the animator. Here's this whole episode is a piece of meta commentary on what it takes to get an animation over the line in Japan. So there's a lot. That is the entire conceit of the episode. It is really about giving you a bit more insight into what it takes, who does what, and what happens when productions fall apart and why they're late.
Yeah, it's certainly the undertone for it, but like you had like the guy, he was staring at the voice actress.
There's the weird creepy dude, who is the production coordinator, Saruta.
And it starts off with, here's the production coordinator, he does all this, and this guy is a bit of a dumb, so he's probably going to get fired. Was the line it starts off. And then it cuts to the sound director, who basically manages the whole sound department, music, voice actors and that. And they're talking about the voice actors being new and they're not very good at doing the voice dub. And then I think it cuts to the producer. He was like, "Oh, sorry, we'll get this in colour by episode 5 or something. It'll be because also, like we said, it looked like it was going through some pre-production." And And it cuts to a point where it basically, what, the writer's like in hospital and both his arms is broken. How can that be?
I no, it's worse than that. It's the writer's in hospital. I hope it's not too bad. What do you mean he's paralyzed from the neck down? Can he use his fingers? No. Well, I guess tell him to feel better soon. It's like that's not how this works. Like he's done.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
they seem very unfazed about the fact that the guy's like, oh, that's disappointing that he won't be able to finish the work. I guess we're done with him now.
yeah. And then you have oh, is the editor guy when the editors say it just basically tells we don't it's the storyboard that produces the script anyway.
Hmm.
So if that
They
changes,
kind
then,
of
then you need to rewrite the
they
script.
kind of brush it off
Yeah.
as not really. I suppose like again it goes into the commentary of like how callous I suppose things can be in these industries. Um, I don't know if this is supposed to be a broad sweeping criticism of approach or if it's more just his like Satoshi Kon's experience with working in the industry.
Hmm.
Yeah, difficult to say.
Yeah. And then I think it comes in with some guys. Oh, he just wanted to get out, type thing, and he was like the
Yeah,
head of the photo department where he does all the captures all the slides and puts it all
yeah,
together into the animation. He's like the last stretch, so any delay in the schedule will
fucks him up.
fuck him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But should state it gets to that point actually. So you're in a recording studio with the voice actors and the creepy uh guy who's like told he was going to get fired because he was pretty shit. It's just
Saruta.
yeah, he just kind of nods off, then wakes up
Yeah,
and he's driving a car in the rain on the highway all alone.
it's kind of a continuing theme in this episode. Like I say, this is one of these ones where it's probably difficult to speak to the entirety of it without just literally spelling out everything that happens, because all it does is occasionally like talk about who does a job and what they do as a job.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's interspersed with him nodding off in random places, waking up behind the wheel of a car, and then looking into his rearview mirror and somehow seeing behind him Lil Slugger.
Oh, that didn't happen until later, much
No,
later.
I guess
He
yeah,
gets put
I guess that's the last few
yeah.
sequences, isn't it?
So he nods off there, and then he kind of dozes off, and it turns up to that point. And then
Yeah.
all the stuff is happening there, and then for whatever reason he wakes up again in the car because I think
Well,
the
is he waking up in the car, or is he in the car remembering about what led to this point?
well, I think it's probably that, but I like to
Because
think I like to think that
I he's just nodding off and dreaming of being in a car.
yeah, or he's jumping around reality. He's jumping to the future to the back.
Oh no. Yeah, because I thought it was that too, but having read the wiki page, it sort of suggests it's like no. I think the idea is that like the rapper, the kind of conceit is that he is, I think, driving the tape somewhere, the finalized tape,
He's trying to get
and this is the yeah to be delivered, and this is the point like where he's at, but he is nodding off behind the wheel and keeps remembering the troubled production and what led him to this point.
oh yeah,
Um,
she's the stone cold murderer that he is.
he is yeah. So basically, it seems that as we progress through his dream sequences, that he just kills people.
Oh, he doesn't kill people. He just killed one, as far as I
Did
understand.
just one?
Yeah, as far as I understand, it's just one.
There are a lot of people died though. It feels like everyone involved with the show died.
Everyone in the show seems to have died. Yeah, I mean the only one that didn't die was the writer, who was just paralyzed from the neck down.
So it does make me feel like essentially what was happening was they almost got, like, the guy was waiting for them to finish what he needed from them and then doing them in and taking it to the next person.
Maybe so he's getting shouted out a lot because he was just basically dozing off and not telling people things. So, for example, there's one scene where I think the colorist is saying to the producer, "Hey, where's this? Can I see these things? Because I need to go and do this stuff."
Oh,
before
I was supposed to have these. Can I have them now?
Yeah, and he's like, and the guy goes, "What?" And then he's just sleeping away in the chair. And
yeah, he's just nodded off.
He's got a Minori sleep mask on, and he just goes,
yeah,
pulls up and slats in his face.
What a dick.
And then there's another case where he tells the colorist again, "Oh yeah, you got to finish all this by today." And she's like, "Look at this stuff. It's not happening."
Love this scene where she's like, you'll finish this today, right? Because the deadline is today. It's like, since when? And no, that's not happening. It's like, well, but if you don't finish it, we'll be late. It's like, but it's not going to happen. He's like, oh, but if you don't finish it, it'll be late.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think I want to speak to the boss. And he's like, I'd rather not get him involved.
Yeah. It's like, you only learn about this today? And then he's basically, yeah, he basically balls him out. The funniest bit was, I think for me, is it's when the background artist finishes a bit of work. He's like, "Oh, don't touch it, you'll scratch it." And then he goes like, "It's raining outside. You gotta keep this dry. You gotta keep this dry." "Yeah, don't worry." And he just like folds it up into eighths, and all you see is the background artist just like going, and then falling to his knees in disbelief.
It is,
and then he's
just so inept.
And then he gets like 100% tackled by the boss. Like, has his head like leaned to the ground, going, "I've given up wanting to fire you. I just want you to die."
That's what he says. He's like, I don't need to fire you anymore. I just need you to die. Yeah. And he says it with like this, not like angrily. He says it in this really calm and collected way that's really disturbing. He's like, I just need you to die. And he just says it again, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, interspersed with this is, yeah, he's been waking up in the car again, and he keeps seeing Little Slugger gaining on him, and he accidentally, somehow Little Slugger's traveling at 70 miles an hour in his roller skates on a highway.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pulls a loaded weapon, one where he was like, I don't see him behind me anymore, I must have lost him. But then he's actually just in the back seat all of a sudden.
Oh no, it's just to the point where he's like, "Oh, I don't see him anymore," and then
is it the bat?
The Little Slugger just kind of like draws from the front of the car to his window, and just taps on it, and he goes, "Ah!"
But then he does eventually end up in the back seat,
mm-hmm.
which he realizes by him, like, I think stretching his bat out so he can see it from the back seat or something like that. And he's like, yeah,
I think he just realizes something's amiss. I don't know. And then he's talking to producers and stuff there, where they're at the station and saying, "Right, we need it by you already got half an hour. You're meeting time. Yeah, I'll be there. No worries. I got this." And then
Spoiler alert, he didn't got it.
he got it. He did deliver
Well,
it.
he did get
He
it.
does have a dream sequence where he doesn't get there. He's just saying sorry,
He does,
sorry,
yeah.
and then he gets kind of drawn out. He goes
Yep.
gets like he's character of an anime. He just is like a
Yeah, he just
storyboard.
gets. Yeah, he revert his character regresses to the storyboard form and then to the pure sketch form.
Yeah.
There's some clever artwork in this one, similar to like the Dragon Quest one from earlier on as well. Like there's
Yeah.
some clever stuff in here.
Yeah.
But I think yeah, you're right. He does that, but then it turns out it's like no, he did make it, and he's like, but he did make it, but he's also dead. So
Yeah, Lil Slugger gets it.
His corpse made it.
Yeah. He also he got chewed out to get the artist things. He goes there and the door
She's
just
dead.
opens and the person's dead in the chair, but he's like, "Oh, you got everything. That's great. Did good work." And
Bye.
Bye. And then it cuts to the cars and he's just screaming saying, "Oh, you think I'm that stupid that I didn't see didn't notice the dead person? Of course I notice the dead. I know the difference between dead and sleeping."
Oh my god. He's such a broken individual.
Yeah. Going back to the background artist. This scene I think is when he's telling about the deadline to the Carlos. The scene that the background artist just wrote on his thing is like, "Don't look for me." Don't look for me.
Oh my god.
And Carlos is found dead in the street.
With the tape though.
Yeah. And no, he had the tape. Oh no.
Yeah, he had the tape.
And then the boss man, he gets the tape, but he's told the guy he's fired because he's shit.
Yeah.
And
he's also dead.
Oh no, this is before that. So he tells the guy he's dead, and then the other person, the photographer, is dead. Just lying there, and he prizes, and the boss prizes the tape out of his hands, and is about to make the call. Say, "We've got the tape. We're doing this," and then he kills the boss.
Yeah. Oh god.
Because he comes out and you can see it's him with the baseball bat. Because
he's like, "I'll deliver the tape. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm the hero of this story."
Yeah. And then he's just in a demented laugh while he's getting attacked down by Lil Slugger himself. But there's a bit in it. It's like the start. When he first goes to the car, he has like the radio on, I think. And it talks.
Oh, it's playing the theme tune from the show as well at one point.
Yeah, when Little Slugger appears, it pops on and it starts playing the theme tune. But like the start is it says, "Oh, in some studio somewhere, looks there's a producer guy has died, and it looks like the work of Little Slugger."
That's right. Oh man, I hadn't clicked with that. And no, it wasn't. It was the work of the dude in the car.
Yeah, but he didn't. He didn't bat an eyelid.
Doesn't react. No,
he just turns the radio off.
That definitely happened.
He punches himself. Tried to keep him awake. He's like, "Oh, I better not fall asleep."
He does.
And
he gets super aggressive with that.
And then it's like this weak camera angle where his head goes, like the animation where he's like got multiple faces, like
yeah. That's right.
Yeah, so basically the story of this game is this guy is insane and he's framed Little Slugger for something he didn't commit.
And then Little Slugger came for him, killed him.
Yeah.
The irony being that the tape ends up getting into the hands of the network and being able to be rushed to air. And I think the episode ends on Maromi going, "Take a rest. Take a rest. Take a rest. Take a rest."
It does.
This is a weird episode.
It is.
It's a really weird episode.
I mean, like I was saying last week, was like, I don't know what it is. It's kind of fillerish, but it has its good my point's like, I don't think you need to watch it. Fully, it doesn't seem to add anything to the overall arcing story.
It's quite similar to a couple of other ones where
Mm.
it's doing a lot of world building.
Yeah.
Like we talked at the start about the fact that it's like, here's a collective of characters. Here's like two police officers. Here's a scumbag lawyer.
Yeah.
Here's a low level police officer. Here's the daughter of that low level police officer. Here's the woman who created Maromi, and those are the Or here's Ichi as well. You know, here's these guys that are the main protagonists in this story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we think that the characterizations are limited to that. Like, it's this group of people and their impact, but then I think it's sort of this representation where the spread of the knowledge is emblematic of the spread of the show. Like, the whole idea is that as the knowledge of Little Slugger spreads, the more people become impacted. So the show then takes that on board and it talks about the impact that it's had. So like we have the suicide club, we have the old wives talking outside the buildings. We have this episode where it's just it's the people who are making the show.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also this layer of meta commentary about the anime industry layered in there as well. I do think it's very good. I just don't know that it's very much my favorite.
No, it's not. I can't. I mean, it could be someone's favorite, but it's not like anything to do with the anime as such.
I would be lying if I didn't say it wasn't clever.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's definitely clever, and I appreciate what they're trying to do. I just think for me, I like the through line more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't need so much of the surrounding stuff. Like, I would give the exception to the Happy Family Planning episode where like the Suicide Pact group was a really emotionally impactful episode. Whereas like etc., which is the one with the old wivies outside,
Mm-hmm.
felt more superfluous. I didn't need to know that. But I guess I didn't need to know the one before either, so yeah.
I think these ones are kind of this kind of clever story building in it.
Mm-hmm. Like I
Where
say, there's definitely a lot of world building going on.
I don't know if they just basically had a couple like spare episodes to do, and they just went, "Oh, we can write this one like this, and write this into it like this." And
I don't know. It feels intentional to me.
I mean, it is intentional to a degree. I suppose it starts talking about the show because it is shown in the next episode on air.
That's true. So what do you rate this one?
First time I watched it, I was like, ah. I watched it the second time, and I noticed it's a bit more and a bit more involved. But I suppose I potentially was rushing it last time. I don't know. 7? It's decent enough.
I think a set.
It's got
I think a 7's fair.
yeah, it's got funny bits in it, and it tells that story in a kind of engaging way. It
Yeah,
could be done a lot worse, where it's like linear, like rather than chopped up.
I think the rappers are always good. That's the thing. I think it's just there's a very tenuous connection to Lil Slugger and the through line.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's like we were talking about before. It's the ripples in the water, isn't it? Where like we're reaching like the outsides of the influence of Lil Slugger here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're starting to draw back in again because as we've seen, like the intention here was to like the mention of Lil Slugger was purely at the basis of someone being a bit of a copycat to try and get away with something, but then that resulting in direct contact death by Lil Slugger. So
Yeah.
um okay. So moving on to episode 11, No Entry.
Yeah. So this one here starts off with a woman at the doctor's who's saying that she needs an operation. And I
Yeah,
think
she's sick.
yeah, and I think she refused the operation and went and got some meds. And then as she's walking through the streets back to her house, they talk about Little Slugger and how he's turned into a ginormous. He's no little anymore. He's a big monster these days.
Yeah, she's overhearing the rumors. It's like he's not a child anymore. He's a human. He's enormous. He's a monster. He's barely human.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like we talked about as well, the idea that things, people knowing something's name, giving it power.
Yeah,
I think we're kind of doubling down on that again in this instance.
yeah. So, so she gets back home and she goes to the dining table, and then behind one of the screen doors that you get in Japanese houses, you see Little Slugger. She goes, "Aha! I knew you would be here. I may have accidentally summoned you with some things, but I'm going to tell you the story in a very monotone way of like how humans are not worthless and they are very resilient and they can survive anything that they put their mind to, essentially."
This this is a weird episode.
Yeah, so it's basically her monologuing about how she came to be who's the person she is and why she does
Yeah,
the things that she does, essentially, and how that is.
she talks about she talks about how difficult her situation is now. Like she's afraid to get the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to leave her husband behind.
Mm-hmm.
She talks a little bit about how her and her husband met.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn that her husband is Ikari, who is one of the lieutenants or the police officers who was fired
Mm-hmm.
after the suicide of the Lil Slugger copycat.
Yeah. Oh, we should also mention it doesn't quite start with her. I think it starts with a weird man with an aerial sticking out his back.
Oh, who I'm pretty sure is the other guy, right?
Yeah, he's revealed that then as the other guy.
But I mean, you could tell that it's Manawa.
Yeah,
Is it? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
It's 100% Manawa, who is now like lost his mind and is roaming the streets with an aerial antenna.
yeah, yeah. He's there doing that. And he's like, I don't know. I don't know if he was outside the clinic or what, but they had like the um thingy Minori's TV show on the TV, and he's like, "It's begun," and then he runs away or something
Yeah,
like
that's right.
that. Anyway,
That's
so
right.
she's basically monologuing to
She is
Little Slugger.
talking down to Lil Slugger, who is kind of growing larger to become more threatening
Mm-hmm.
in response to her desire to be saved from her current circumstance, but her words are pushing that back and keeping him at bay. He is swiping and slicing and smashing up the room, and he's huge. He's floor to ceiling. You can see, like, I think there's a really cool shot where we're sort of outside her house and you just see her sat, and you see the shadow of Lil Slugger through the the,
The
the
screen.
window, the door,
Yeah,
the screen door,
yeah,
and you can see the draft of the bat, like moving her hair
yeah.
and her clothes. It's quite a cool shot. But that's the majority of the episode is essentially her telling her story about how she is she's scared. Her and her husband were happy.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't have children,
Yeah, because she was too ill.
and
Yeah,
and how her husband stood by her, and you know, we'll do what we do. We just need to focus on, you know, keeping you health, like you getting better or feeling okay. And obviously, like, we talk a little bit about, or she talks about how the darker times of her husband dealing with the Lil Slugger case and how that was so hard on him, and obviously he would come to lose his job
Yeah.
as a police officer.
And it also kind of cuts to him because it goes, "Oh, you may know my husband. He's a noble
in the
person."
present.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's working his 3 construction site jobs.
Yep.
And he was basically being noble, that telling people, "Hey, stop! Don't walk that way," and that's how you get the title of
Well,
the
that's
episode.
the no entry.
Yeah,
And it's because it's Miss Sagi and I think her agent
uh,
that try to get through, isn't
no,
it?
that's a bit later.
Is that later?
Yeah, yeah, because this is just some random dude he's out there, and then he runs to his other job.
That's right.
He's late. He's late, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're late. Blah, 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 blah. What you doing?" He's like, "Oh, sorry." And then he's covering the end of his shift there, and the guy says, "Oh, why don't you just go home? What's the point of working the 3 jobs, man? You can go home to see your wife." Like,
Yep.
yeah. And then I think he was thinking about doing that halfway through it.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason he's get let through by some other guy, but he finds a keyring of Minori on the ground.
Yep.
Picks that up, and then at that point I think he goes, "Right, I'm going to the other job." So he goes to the other job, and then he meets how do we describe the person? An old acquaintance would be the best way to describe him.
Yeah, he meets a person I think he recognizes, and it turns out that when he was a cop, this guy was the first person he ever arrested.
Was it his first?
I think it was his first arrest as a cop.
Yeah. And he was a burglar, and he said, because the other guy says,
traditional burglar. Traditional.
Yeah.
Had a burlap sack and everything.
Yeah, good old Hapasai fucking
character.
At least he's probably robbed things proper and not pants.
Wearing a ski mask and...
Yeah. Oh well, no, it was just the handkerchief wrapped up underneath his nose.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so the guy is basically like, "Oh, hey, what did you do to be here?" type thing. And it's like, and he goes, and he holds his hand, "Did you do this?" And he's like, "No, quite the opposite, actually. I was a police." And then wait.
Yeah.
Ikari? Detective Ikari?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Oh, shit.
And then, like, don't you remember me? You nabbed me once. And it's like,
yep.
Oh, yeah. And he did 5 years.
What was his monologue?
Oh.
He said something to him and he says, "I always remembered it."
Oh, yeah, it was
and
like...
I forgot it.
It was something along the lines of, like, should do stuff there because, like, life is short or something like that. I felt was
that seems right.
It wasn't exactly that. That was paraphrasing at best.
At best.
But I mean, they start to reminisce about old times and how things have changed, and how Lil Slugger's a thing of the present, which I suppose you can now they can relate to probably present times, how things have changed. How even now, it's just how things have changed from 30 years ago. You didn't have YouTube back 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Or the internet.
We're kind of cutting back as well at this point as well to like his wife, Misae, and she is, I think we think at one point like kind of breaking down a little bit.
Yeah,
because Lil Slugger actually gets a strike in
yeah.
and leaves her bloody.
I think she says something to her, him, and it kind of angers him.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you get scenes in the pond in the garden of red lily pods just kind of floating away, and they're being wished away by when he does things.
The hit. Yeah.
Uh,
The she just ends up laughing at him though, because she is I think what she's kind of going through, I saw it as like she's going through a bit of the stages of grief, like in this conversation while remaining strong.
mhm.
And because her eventual realization, she's like, you know, my husband's a good man, and uh even when I told him that he didn't deserve this and that it's my fault, he told me to, never to talk like that. Uh,
Mhm.
so she's like, you know what? I think all of this is to say, I'm gonna have that surgery, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna fight the illness I have head on, regardless of the risk, because it's better to try. And with that, I think Little Slugger does like one big final swipe,
yeah, I think he does.
and the building kind of collapses.
No, I don't think the building collapses. There's not. It's in
Well,
ruins.
the walls fall down,
Oh, yeah, you know it does. Yeah, and she's
and she's in a field.
in a field somewhere.
I kind of read that as like, she's now at peace with her decision.
I think so. Yeah,
Like she no longer needed the like, because obviously, as she said at the start, I've summoned you here with my desire to remove myself from the situation I'm in. I want out.
yeah,
And yeah, she's now come to peace with her own decision and no longer needs him, and
yeah,
he's gone.
yeah. So that's what's happened there. I mean, what was it? He was laughing at her though, and then she does the
Oh yeah,
face all over the place job on her. It's like humans are more resilient. You're not human. You would never understand this. Blah blah
yeah.
blah.
You couldn't understand this.
Yeah, and then she just does the scary laugh at him.
Yeah.
So like seem to like to put the motion blur on the face, so going over this way, that way, here and there. And then like kind of stop motion it. She's kind of like off screen, like that.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. And then she's like a bit more on like that, and then more in the center. And,
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, she came to the realization that she's doing it, and she's basically talked the guy away.
And talked herself into doing
Mm.
the brave thing.
Yeah,
And
and then
then we go back to Ikari and the old dude
old bar color dude. Yeah,
going to have a. I think they leave work, and he's like, "Come on, we'll go and get something to eat and drink."
yeah. Go and have a drink, and he's based. And it turns out Ikari is unfortunately has broken has come broken himself in the fight. He doesn't care about anything anymore.
Yeah, I think this is the kind of, we've sort of started off with like him being this kind of pillar of optimism,
Mm-hmm.
of like he's always just pushing forward to try harder to fight for his wife, and she speaks of him in that way and talks about her own her own pessimism and defeatist attitude, and how that's must have been very hard on her husband, only for her to find the strength to be the optimist and to fight, and then at the same time for them to just switch tracks.
Yeah,
And he explains how he doesn't care about Little Slugger anymore. He doesn't care about any of that, and actually he just kind of doesn't want to do it anymore.
yeah,
And I like when he says that, like, to me, it's not. I don't want to do the job because, of course, he doesn't do that job anymore. I think it's just he's looking for an out.
Yeah.
He's tired. And he does say that the guy's like, because you're just tired. That's fine.
Yeah.
You should take a rest.
You should take a rest. And and they walk out the pub. He gives them the box of matches with the fan on it again.
Well, before that, he explains to. I think did they not have the conversation about how? He's when I was a cop, I just wanted to catch old-fashioned criminals.
Oh, that's
I didn't want.
That's how he
didn't
wanted
want
to become a cop.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's how I knew, because I wanted to catch these. But what I got was, not these crazy people. That's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
And it's not what he couldn't handle that. I don't think.
Yeah. He was out of touch. Things like that, and I can't remember what to say, but they leave the pub, and then they walk out, and then it's obviously gone to like 60s anime style, where it's just like
fantasy land, 5 frames a second.
Yeah, like you've seen the guy go, and then people just walking, all in 2D.
It's very Speed Racer.
Yeah, it's like the old school animation, and he goes and buys. It also
reminds me of the. Yeah, that's right. I like the fact that the smokes were called Hope.
Yeah, the smokes
like that was really interesting. It reminds me of the old Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh, the 60s one.
Where they would like slide the characters into place to do things.
Yeah.
They were always quite fun. Yep.
Stop pointing at me. Stupid meme. Anyway, oh jeez, yeah. So he does that, and then he sees someone goes, "Stop, thief!" I was like, "Oh, thief!" And he turns around, and it's like the burglars that he wanted to catch when he was young, and he chases after them, and he turns around a corner, and then the burglar's not there. It's a dead end. The burglar's not there.
This is just a kid peeing.
Just a kid peeing, as you do.
And he finds a Maromi doll there, doesn't he?
He might do, actually. He does find another one, because he gives the other one back to
Miss Sagi. Yeah, he does.
Because they're walking through the building site, and they, detective,
he's like,
what are you doing here?
It looks kind of cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he does. But yeah, you're right. I think that's pretty much the end of the episode. Oh no, sorry. Actually, it then cuts back to Manawa, Mr. Radio Man, at the property, his Ikari's home, looking for him. And he's like, "Hey, is Ikari here?" And his wife is like, "No, he hasn't come back."
Yeah. I don't think he says that. I think it just appears there, and his wife goes, "Oh, Mr. Ikari," and it's like, "Yes, my husband's not here. He hasn't come back yet." And she states it twice, and then he takes off his goggles or whatever he's wearing.
His goggles.
And goes,
"Yeah,
Chief."
Yeah.
You mean the chief?
Oh.
And then it cuts there.
I think there is a bit as well, actually, where he's having the conversation with the guy in the bar. And he mentions that there was a time where he was away with work, and he came home to find a dinner on the table for every night that he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And he's like, her memory is going. She's suffering, and I think that was like that seemed really hard on him for some reason, like to feel like he'd abandoned her when she was struggling.
Yeah. I don't.
It's.
But
yeah.
It was that. Her story of that was because she mentions that as well, where he stood with her even through all her hard times, and that's when she's like, "I don't want to be a burden to him, so I'll be there for whenever he comes home, even when he's taking an unexpected business trip, he's
Yep.
gone longer than expected and stuff like that. I'll be there for him.
The whole episode is two people on opposite sides of the track emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
You have someone who has been in a deep denial and depression and pessimism, and you have someone who is blindly optimistic and being just outwardly positive to try and help that other person try to push forward.
Mm-hmm.
And as that person starts to find their own power towards positivity, is when he's no longer needed anymore to do that. And it's almost like the, you know, the equal and opposite.
Yeah.
You know, they have to exist on opposite sides of that equation.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, it's actually kind of the more I think about it, it is actually quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
In that way.
But
It's again another weird episode.
yeah, there's some scenes in it. So just talking about the last scene where you what's at the pub and it's all like 80s, 60s kind of anime of like stop start animation, poor animation.
Yeah.
Um, there's kind of I don't know. I thought it was just basically cheaping out in animation, but now I'm thinking of it, maybe it's that because like when he gets the crosswalk walking that, and he's looking at the happy family. It's like a still image, and then the people that he's in the queue waiting to cross the road, like the kids are
Yep.
all talking. None of them are animated. They're all still.
No, it's all idealism. It's his idea of what he wanted his life to be, of what he expected life to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it is that escapism that every other, like
Mm-hmm.
everyone that Little Slugger comes for wants to escape
Mm-hmm.
their situation, their reality, and to me, it seems like that other guy, for whatever reason, was the precipitator of this time. It was like, oh yeah, we can help you escape.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Here's everything you want.
yeah. Possibly. I wonder what it is.
Well, we've not got many episodes to find out, Colin.
Only two more, man.
Yeah. So what do you rate this one?
This one it's on a different level from the 10. It's a bit more story in depth. It's starting to arc round again to the bigger picture, I think, and how Little Slugger can be caught and defeated.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe partly also about the what's happening in the intro, because it's just laughing people all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it was interesting. I'm still going to keep it at 7. It's still good enough for a 7, I think.
I think it's. I would have said that the last one was like a lower 7. This one is like higher 7, almost an 8 territory. I think like with the Happy Family Planning one, I don't think it's as good as that one, honestly. But there's an emotional undertone to the whole episode. Obviously, it's trying to drive forward a little bit as well, but
Mm.
there's a lot to read into it, I think, that makes it more interesting. So
But this episode,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, there's a lot in it.
There's it's definitely an undertone. There's, and I agree, it would be a higher 7 than the other one. The other one was a 7 because it was kind of enjoyable to watch to a point.
Yeah, I think like in the same way that I know I use this quite a lot, but I appreciate what the Endless Eight is. I didn't particularly enjoy it all that much.
Mhm.
I think the last episode I appreciated more of it than I enjoyed, but I enjoyed enough of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, we've done it again. That's another episode under our belts, and almost this is the penultimate episode in our season 12.
Mm-hmm.
Which leaves us to say, I suppose, you've been listening to Who's That Anime, an anime podcast all about anime, which can be found wherever podcasts can be found. Our home is at anchor.fm/ Who's That Anime. We don't make any money from this. There's no advertising or anything. So if you like what it is we do, leaving a review would be amazing. And if you already have or can't, then telling a friend about the show would also be really cool. We have a Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Who's That Anime, where we post the latest episode releases and the occasional anime meme. We have a Discord channel. You can find the link for that in the show notes. We have a YouTube. That's youtube.com. And if you search for @Who's That Anime, the YouTube is where Colin painstakingly puts together the video version of these shows. But also now you can get all the audio episodes there too via the magic of the RSS feed.
Yeah,
so
magical.
Feel free to, if you enjoy listening to your podcast via YouTube, which I think it turns out a large percentage of the population do, you can find us there.
Yeah.
Colin and I also occasionally like to play video games. Colin at twitch.tv/couchfuel and myself at twitch.tv/hailpayman. And you can find archives of all the recorded sessions and live gameplay that we did there at youtube.com if you search for @couchfuel or @hailpayman.
Yeah. It's been a journey. I haven't really played many games though, I should say.
My wife is playing all the games for my family at the moment.
All the games?
Well, one game, but she's playing enough of it for all of us.
So she's still super addicted to Disney, is she?
Yep. I think I'm just gonna double check her latest play count.
Spying on your wife live on the podcast.
Well, it's not so much spying if it's just looking at her Steam account. It's not loading. She was live an hour ago though. I think her play count is something like 60 hours.
Yeah. Oh wow.
in the last month. So
wow.
For someone that doesn't play any video games, that's a lot of video games.
That is a lot of video games. Or video game.
Yeah, so for her Christmas, she's getting Steam vouchers so she can get the expansion.
Nice. You got a Steam Deck, yeah? She's playing on that?
Yep, she's using my Steam Deck. She's got it on her PC as well, but it's like in her office where it gets a bit colder at night, so she prefers just sitting about with the Steam Deck and having something on the TV, I think. But then she also has an Xbox controller now that she can just play it on the Xbox if she wants as well, so even more dangerous.
Oh man, she has everything. All
yeah, there's no escaping it.
Yeah.
No escaping it. It's just there.
I was thinking about buying the Steam Deck. Now they release an OLED.
Yeah, the OLED one's supposed to be real good. I was listening to Jeff Gersman talk about his, and he was saying it's a big, a worthwhile improvement. Maybe not upgradable if you already have one, but if you don't have one, then it's a decent one to pick up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It just costs money.
Yeah, it does.
Question.
Things do. It turns out.
Things do.
Unfortunately, yeah.
No, what are you on about? Things don't cost money.
Oh, we need to
just a ride down the chimney every year.
That's how it works.
Oh, chimney.
Well, we'll be back next week with the last episode in our season 12.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing up Paranoia Agent.
Yeah.
So. I guess we'll.
Yeah.
Say the line, Colin.
Say the line. No, I don't want to be known as the one line person.
Say the line, Bart.
Say the line. I didn't do it. Oh man, that actually just reminded me of the natural. What was it? Natural habitat. animations.
Yeah.
And it's the one with I think it's Patrick. He's in the classroom and he's eating the gum.
Did you bring enough for the whole class?
And then he just gobbles all up, and then the seagull just goes, "Seize him!" And then it's just like a class of seagulls.
Seize him.
Yeah.
That's my youngest son's favorite one. He loves that because he likes the way that the teacher says Patrick, because he goes Patrick.
Yeah.
So he likes saying that. Speaking of, I bought their new
Oh, you bought Patrick?
their new
Patrick.
I bought Patrick with a coat this time. So
Patrick with a coat this time.
yeah, because I have the one with the little pinafore, the shopping supermarket one.
All right.
Because my kids really love that. They like to watch it, and they like to know about all of the facts and things like that. So
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where I don't know that it would be a subscription thing that I would pay for, but if they're going to do these and they're going to get some money from it, then it's a nice way of it every now and then going, yeah, you should have some money for that. Because I think it's just 3 people, I think.
Yeah.
It's really quite good. I do like it.
I certainly showed it to my niece when we were on holiday.
Oh, did she like it?
Yeah, and she showed it to Ben, my nephew, and they both seem to like it.
That's cool. Yeah, I think it's I like that they I like the stuff they do. It's very clever.
Yeah, I think that my favorite one is the weird fact that platypus glow blue under ultraviolet light.
Why am I blue? Why am I blue?
Is that normal? Why am I blue?
It's the slow head shake and the mouth pursing to get the lips pursing together, going like, no.
And then he's just in the shower just going, "Why am I blue? Why am I blue?"
It's so funny.
That's amazing.
I like is it the lemming one? Is the new one?
Oh.
The one of it's like, we can't we're no longer going to be a symbol of conformity, and he ends up missing his flight.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you called for boarding group 3 while I wasn't listening?" Mm-hmm. Okay. No. Well, see you around. Just leaves.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so funny, and it shouldn't be that funny, but man, it's real funny.
I like the possum one on the airplane too. It's like,
yes,
it's just was it gerbil or something that the security line. "Oh, please empty all your pockets, everything."
People, there are 2 lines. Empty everything from your pockets. And it's just like bringing out baby after baby into one of the trays to go through the X-ray machine.
Yeah, separate pockets, and apparently they can carry 20 babies or something.
Yeah, and then poor Andrew the stoat is stuck on the plane getting his seat kicked by a million children.
Yeah, and all screaming because the whole plane
so
it's covered in children.
Awesome. Oh, it's so good. Actually, my recent favorite one is the one about the ducks who have gold in their stomachs.
All right.
And it's the little duckling that has swallowed the 2 wedding rings for the duck wedding. And the hamster guy's looking on really awkwardly, like, because the mum's like, "Come on, you swallowed them," and like hitting his back, and then he kind of goes, "Ugh!" And one of the rings bounces up and lands on the ground. She's like, "There's supposed to be 2. Why is there 2?" She keeps like hitting his back, and then the other ring comes up, and it's just him going, and then it cuts to like later on that night, and it's playing Benny Benassi's Satisfaction, with the ducks spitting out loads of gold everywhere, and that hamster guy with the tie tied around his head going, "Yeah!"
Yeah, actually, yeah.
That is maybe my favorite one. It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, those are all amazing. Please, if there's one action other than to maybe help us with this podcast, you should absolutely go and support Natural Habitat Shorts. Their stuff is just fantastic. They're on, I think, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Their stuff is just absolutely brilliant. They're educational and funny and just really clever. So yeah, absolutely go and support them if you can.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, time to say that line, hey?
Do it. Say the line, Colin.
Alright. So, what's see you. See you. Same anime place, same anime time, same anime.
That's the one. We'll be back paranoid. We'll be more paranoid next week for the last time.
Well, always paranoid. See you guys later.
I mean, always.
Always.
Bye, folks.
Bye.